It is my view that the deceitful way the interview was obtained substantially influenced what my mother said. The interview was a major contribution to making my parents' relationship worse and has since hurt countless others.
Tensions in the royal family have hit a boiling point, and this time Prince William is drawing a hard line in the sand. In a stunning move that has shocked palace insiders, he has reportedly cut Queen Camilla from the awards ceremony for his late mother, Princess Diana's beloved charity. Was this a quiet act of protest or a powerful message designed to protect Diana's legacy? Behind the polished smiles and strict royal protocol, a deep family rift can no longer be concealed. What triggered this shocking decision, and what does it mean for the fragile stability of the monarchy? The truth will leave you speechless. The BBC interview scandal. It was June of 2021, and the world's attention snapped toward Buckingham Palace. Something major had just happened, something that would dredge up old memories and tear open old wounds. The BBC had just accepted the findings of an official investigation led by Lord Dyson, and what it revealed was absolutely shocking. The report laid bare how the infamous 1995 Panorama interview with Princess Diana was secured not with integrity, but with lies-forged documents and manipulation. BBC journalists had deceived Princess Diana into giving the interview, which would become one of the most explosive moments in the history of the royal family. The truth was finally out, and the impact was immediate. Soon after, Prince William stood before cameras right outside Kensington Palace. He looked profoundly shaken. His face was a mixture of pain, anger, and deep sorrow. When he spoke, his voice was calm, but you could feel the raw emotion simmering beneath each word. He stated that it was correct for the BBC to accept Lord Dyson's conclusions, but he also made it crystal clear how severe the damage had been. He said BBC employees lied and used fake documents to get the interview with my mother, his voice steady but heavy with grief. His words didn't just echo through London, but across newsrooms, living rooms, and social media feeds all over the planet. For William, this was never just a news story. This was personal, intensely personal. Losing his mother, Princess Diana, was a wound that had never healed, and now he was forced to relive the darkest chapter of her life. He spoke frankly about how much she had suffered not only from the intense media pressure, but from the betrayal and deceit she endured behind closed doors. The lies that were used to gain her trust had inflicted lasting harm, not just on Diana, but on the entire royal family. The moment William spoke, the headlines erupted. Suddenly everyone was talking about Princess Diana again. Her kindness, her suffering, her tragic death, and the brutal way the press had treated her in her final years. William's statement wasn't just a complaint, it was a promise. He would not allow anyone to tarnish his mother's memory ever again. But William wasn't just talking to the BBC. Behind his controlled words was something more: years of sadness, anger, and frustration over how his mother's story was told again and again, often cruelly and without compassion. Usually the royal family remained silent on emotional topics, preferring to keep things private and perfectly polished. But not this time. Even Queen Elizabeth was reportedly very disturbed by the revelations. Prince Charles, though, said nothing, perhaps because he knew just how complicated this story really was. As days turned to weeks, the world continued to talk. News channels, newspapers, and online forums were buzzing with endless questions. William's reaction to Lord Dyson's report revealed one thing very clearly. The emotional wounds inside the royal family were still incredibly raw. Even after so many years, Diana's story felt unfinished. Her legacy was still a battleground. Throughout the rest of 2021 and into 2024, William began to quietly take action to safeguard his mother's memory. He became much more involved with the Diana Award, a charity that celebrates young people for their humanitarian work, all inspired by Princess Diana's compassion. But this wasn't simply a public role for him. For William, this became a deeply personal mission. He wanted the world to remember his mother the right way, with honesty, with kindness, and with the dignity she deserved. As the next Diana Awards ceremony drew near, planning was underway behind palace walls. Typically, these royal events follow a strict traditional formula, but this time something was different. William was being meticulous about every choice, especially when it came to who would get an invitation. He was adamant that this event would truly honour Diana's spirit, and that meant ensuring no one and nothing would overshadow her legacy. As these discussions moved forward, one name quietly began to surface again and again: Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall. Camilla's history with Diana had always been notoriously difficult. Their lives were deeply entangled, scarred by public heartbreak and decades of tension. For William and his brother Harry, this was never about royal roles or titles. It was a painful reality they had felt in their bones while growing up. Even though Camilla was now a senior respected royal, the emotional baggage of her past with Diana was impossible to just ignore. It was an extremely sensitive topic, and for William it was profoundly personal. As the date of the event got closer, William appeared more and more resolved to keep the ceremony focused solely on his mother. Behind the scenes, royal insiders whispered about quiet adjustments. Guest lists were being altered. Seating arrangements were re-examined, and some royal protocols were discreetly put aside. It was becoming increasingly clear Camilla might not be on the guest list. Such a move would be audacious. It would defy royal protocol and could send shockwaves through the family not felt for generations. But William seemed determined to do it no matter what the consequences were. He was protecting his mother's honour in the most powerful way possible. Every day the tension grew. Would it really be right for Camilla to attend a ceremony for Diana? Would he really follow through with it? And if he did, how wide would the ripple effects spread? Let's dig a little deeper. Prince William and the Diana Award. The Diana Award is so much more to Prince William than just a yearly ceremony. It's not just another event or a stuffy tradition. It's a profoundly personal tribute to his late mother, Princess Diana. It was created in 1999, just 2 years after her tragic death, and has become one of the most respected honours in the UK. Its mission is to celebrate young people across the globe who demonstrate the same values Diana lived by: kindness and compassion, and a deep commitment to making the world a better place. Each year when the ceremony is held, it's not just treasured by Diana's admirers, it is also eagerly awaited by young people everywhere who hope their efforts will be recognised. These young recipients are chosen for their inspiring work, from standing up to bullying and helping their peers to protecting the environment and advocating for mental health. Over the years, the award has grown incredibly influential, catching the eyes of leaders, charities, and the public. But for Prince William, it's far more than just a public duty or an item on his schedule. It's his chance to honour his mother's memory in a way that truly counts. People who work alongside him say he pours his heart into every single part of the event. He does more than just show up, he prepares meticulously. He studies each recipient's personal journey, learns their stories, and absorbs the courage and love they've shown, just like Diana did when meeting people in need. In the months just before the December 2024 Diana Awards, the halls of Kensington Palace buzzed with a quiet, focused energy. William and his staff spent countless hours reviewing every single nominee's background. According to Palace insiders, he was profoundly moved by the stories of these young people making a difference. To him, they were not just winners, they were proof of his mother's spirit still alive in the world. But there was something else that made this year's ceremony feel even more emotionally charged. New information had come to light about how the BBC deceived Diana during her famous interview back in the 1990s. Reopening these old wounds made William even more protective of her memory. He felt a much stronger duty to ensure her legacy was respected and kept pure. Because of this, William took special care with the event's planning, particularly the guest list. In past years, invitations were sent across the entire royal family, presenting a united front to honour Diana's legacy. Even Camilla, now the widely accepted Duchess of Cornwall, had attended in a quiet, respectful manner. Her presence was always subtle and managed carefully because of her complicated history with Diana. But in 2024, there was a very clear change. Palace insiders revealed a definite hesitation about inviting Camilla. William was personally going over every single guest list and invitation. It was obvious he was being extremely careful, wanting to avoid anything that could distract from the award's purpose or cause any emotional discomfort. The BBC scandal reminded everyone how raw Diana's memory still was for him. And even though Camilla had worked for years to gain public respect, her connection to the pain Diana went through could never be erased. For William, this wasn't about royal protocol or how things looked. It was about protecting his mother's dignity. By November 2024, rumours began to spread that Camilla might not attend. The palace remained silent publicly, but behind the scenes, conversations were tense. William, though respectful, would not back down. He insisted this year's ceremony had to be completely focused on his mother, her values, and the young heroes being celebrated. Leaving Camilla off the guest list for such an event was a bold, emotional move, something that had never happened before. But for William, it felt necessary. He wasn't trying to start a conflict. He was trying to protect the integrity and meaning of the event. His staff quietly altered seating charts, guest protocols, and all the formalities to accommodate this decision. It was clear that William was entering a new era of leadership, one where he was less concerned with royal traditions and more guided by emotional truth and authenticity. As the 25th annual Diana Awards ceremony approached royal watchers and the media waited with bated breath, so would Camilla's absence be made official. Could this set a new standard for how royal events would be handled in the future, or would they reach a last-minute compromise? Let's find out. We'll look at the history between Camilla and Princess Diana and William's emotional decision. The story of Camilla Parker Bowles and Princess Diana is more than a tale of two women. It's a story that rattled the entire royal family and deeply shaped Prince William's emotional life. Their lives became entangled through love, betrayal, and heartbreak, and it didn't just change the face of the British monarchy. It left deep emotional scars that continue to influence decisions inside the royal family decades later. Before Diana ever entered Prince Charles's life, there was Camilla. Charles and Camilla met in the early 1970s, and the two of them formed a very close bond almost immediately. Their connection wasn't just friendship, it was deeply romantic. But their relationship was paused when Charles had to leave for his service in the Royal Navy. During that time, Camilla married another man, Andrew Parker Bowles, in 1973. Even though they moved on with their separate lives, the emotional tie between Charles and Camilla never really faded away. It lingered quietly in the background, far from the public eye. When Lady Diana Spencer married Prince Charles in 1981, she genuinely believed she was entering a real-life fairy tale. To the world it seemed like the perfect royal romance. A beautiful young princess, a future king, and a lifetime filled with duty, devotion, and real love. But the truth behind the palace doors was much more painful. Diana gradually came to realize that her husband's heart still belonged at least partially to another woman, Camilla. Through the 1980s, the fractures in Diana and Charles's marriage became harder to conceal. The royal family worked tirelessly to project a happy image, but away from the cameras, Diana was in deep pain. She was fully aware that Camilla was still a significant part of Charles's life. And though Diana tried to remain strong and keep up appearances, the emotional weight was constant and heavy. Everything shifted in 1989. At a birthday party for Camilla's sister, Annabelle, Elliot Diana made an unexpected appearance. That night, Diana did something unbelievably brave. She made the choice to confront Camilla face to face. In a private chat, quietly observed by her bodyguard, Ken Worf, Diana told Camilla she knew exactly what was going on. She looked her right in the eye and said, "Please don't treat me like an idiot. I know what's going on." Camilla's response was eerily calm, almost cold. She said, "You have two wonderful boys." It was a chilling reply that made Diana feel even more isolated, but it also became a turning point. For the very first time, Diana had spoken her own truth out loud. Throughout the early 1990s, Diana kept struggling with the pain of being trapped in a marriage where she wasn't fully loved. By 1992, the truth was impossible to hide any longer, and Charles and Diana officially separated. Although the royal family tried hard to manage the situation quietly, the emotional fallout behind closed doors was immense. It impacted not only Diana, but her two young sons, William and Harry. Then, in 1995, Diana decided she couldn't be silent anymore. In her famous Panorama interview with the BBC, she opened up about the reality of her marriage. Her words shocked the entire world when she said, "Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." That single sentence became iconic. It showed the whole world the depth of Diana's suffering, and it cemented Camilla as the third person who had stood between a prince and his princess. For a young Prince William, just 13 years old at the time, seeing his mother so sad and broken on national television was absolutely heartbreaking. It wasn't just about the media circus or the public scrutiny. It was the gut-wrenching helplessness of watching the person he loved most simply fall apart. That pain left a permanent scar on his heart. From that moment on, William became fiercely protective of his mother's memory. He made a quiet vow to himself to never let her story fade and to never allow her to be disrespected. Then in August 1997, tragedy struck. Princess Diana was killed in a shocking car crash in Paris. William, only 15, lost his mother in a moment that was impossible to comprehend. The agony of losing her on top of the constant media glare changed him forever. It fundamentally shaped how he viewed love, trust, and family. Years later, in 2005, Charles married Camilla. Gradually, the public began to accept her new role in the royal family. But for William, it was never that simple. On the outside, he remained polite and respectful. But on the inside, the old hurt still festered. He had seen exactly what his mother had endured. He had watched her cry, watched her suffer, and he remembered the woman he felt had caused so much of her pain. Accepting Camilla wasn't simply a matter of royal duty. It was a profound battle between memory and any chance of healing. As the Diana Awards ceremony in December 2024 drew near, William was older, wiser, and more secure in his royal role. Yet the emotional wounds from his mother's battles were still incredibly raw. Recent revelations about how Diana was manipulated into that infamous Panorama interview brought all those old feelings rushing back, reigniting his protective instincts. This only solidified his commitment to honouring Diana in a way that was true, respectful, and completely free from any emotional complications. From William's perspective, allowing Camilla to attend the 25th anniversary of an award created specifically in Diana's honour could completely overshadow the event's true meaning. It could rip open old wounds not just publicly, but for him personally. His careful and thoughtful choices about the guest list were therefore much more than just royal protocol. They were his way of protecting Diana's legacy and ensuring emotional authenticity, and they were about allowing room for personal healing. As the event approached, William's resolve only hardened. He understood the decision about whether Camilla would be there was far more than just a formality. It carried deep symbolic meaning. This decision wasn't just about his feelings concerning the past. It had the potential to redefine his relationship with other senior members of the royal family. Those around him could sense his quiet determination, knowing William had already made up his mind. For him, the Diana Award represented something pure and untouchable, completely free from controversy. Honouring Diana meant ensuring nothing and no one would overshadow her memory. But would William officially confirm Camilla's absence? And if he did, how would the palace manage this unprecedented decision? Let's explore the annual Diana Awards ceremony and Camilla's absence further. As the 25th annual ceremony arrived, a palpable excitement filled the air. Journalists, royal followers, and the public all eagerly awaited the details, and not just about who would be honoured. They also wanted a glimpse into what was happening behind the scenes with the royals. Prince William, through his careful planning, had ensured every detail perfectly honoured his mother's legacy. But beyond all the speeches, smiles and formalities, a quiet tension was hanging in the room. And it would soon become clear why. William's meticulous preparations showed his profound commitment to the ceremony and to his mother. He had even chosen the photos of Diana that filled the space. These images captured her incredible warmth, her deep compassion, and her dedication to helping others. Every detail of the event, from the seating plan for the young award recipients to the moving video tributes, was designed to highlight Diana's lasting humanitarian impact. Yet what grabbed the most headlines wasn't who was there, but who was conspicuously absent. As guests arrived, members of the royal family were greeted warmly by event staff. Prince William and his wife, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, appeared composed but sincere as they greeted the young honorees. Prince Harry was absent due to his own family commitments, but sent heartfelt messages of support. King Charles observed from the background, respectfully aware of the sensitive nature of the day. But one absence was impossible to ignore: Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall. Her absence caused an immediate stir, sending whispers rippling through the media. It became clear to anyone familiar with William's detailed planning that this was no accident. In fact, it was a deliberate choice. Prince William had quietly decided not to invite Camilla to this deeply personal event honouring his mother. Though he never issued a public statement, this silent decision spoke volumes about William's emotional position regarding his mother's complicated past. By choosing not to include Camilla, William sent an incredibly powerful message. Some wounds, especially those connected to his mother's legacy, were simply too personal to overlook. Despite the media firestorm, Buckingham Palace refused to comment. Officials dodged questions about Camilla's absence, focusing instead on the importance of the Diana Awards ceremony. However, this official silence only fueled even more speculation. Privately, sources close to the palace confirmed that William's decision had indeed caused discomfort. Camilla's absence was especially noteworthy considering her growing power and influence within the monarchy. Reactions within the royal family's inner circle were mixed. Some saw it as a respectful boundary drawn by William, motivated by love and a desire to shield his mother's memory. Others worried it might stir up old family conflicts during a very delicate time for the monarchy. Yet William remained completely calm and resolute. Those close to him said he was fully aware of the consequences of his choice, both inside the royal family and in the court of public opinion. To William, this was not about causing drama. It was about being emotionally honest. By excluding Camilla, he made it clear that his mother's legacy must remain untouched by any lingering controversy. Throughout the ceremony, William honoured the young award winners with genuine warmth and sincerity, celebrating their courage, kindness, and leadership. His speech focused entirely on his mother's compassion and her profound desire to create meaningful change in the world. This message resonated deeply with the entire audience, both the people present at the event and the millions who were watching across the globe. This was a powerful signal that Diana's values, so crucial to William's own identity, would be the guiding light for the monarchy's future under his watch. Following the ceremony, the media dissected every moment of William's moving tribute. While they applauded his raw authenticity, it was Camilla's noticeable absence that truly dominated every single conversation. In the weeks that followed, royal insiders fiercely debated the deeper meaning behind Prince William's actions. Buckingham Palace stayed completely silent, but behind closed doors, it was obvious William's decision forced some serious reflection. Camilla, we're told, respected his choice, understanding some wounds just need space to heal. King Charles had to carefully walk a tightrope supporting his son while also recognizing Camilla's official status in the family. In 2024, the Diana Award kept expanding worldwide, fueled by William's authentic devotion to his mother's incredible legacy. Young award winners frequently mentioned how his public actions had inspired them. As 2025 approached, it was clear William's leadership style was changing what the public demanded from the crown. His actions showed the world that true emotional vulnerability could actually strengthen tradition. This was transforming the monarchy's entire image, paving the way for a more compassionate and honest future. So, what's your take on Prince William's jaw-dropping decision about Camilla during his own mother's award ceremony? Let us know all your thoughts down in the comments section. And please remember to like and subscribe.